Heran, the author of The Missing Piece. Today is February 23rd, and the topic for today is constructive alienation, a path towards inner peace. The quote today is by Norman Mania, and the question of the stranger in a society which estranges everybody from it, while forcing everybody to assimilate their own alienation, takes cover under dubious and sinister masks. There are many ways to understand the dynamics of alienation. Karl Marx had four types of alienation, mostly focused on the relationship between the social classes, workers, and their product. Sociology looks at alienation as the estrangement from a community or group where there should be a sustained member affiliation. Hegel wrote about alienation in his social philosophy as a form of unconsciousness or a lack of self knowledge, which, in Hegel's view, worked against the need for creativity and acceptance of our constant state of change. Psychology views alienation as a personal withdrawal from others, either through past pathology or active addictions. In most cases, alienation is seen as a negative state that often leads to isolation, anomie, and breakdown between an individual and their community. However, can alienation be constructive? Can it lead towards inner peace and diminish the restless mind? Well, when a person decides to get sober, for example, after years or decades of alcohol and drug use, they are often instructed to find new people, places, and things, moving away from what is known and actively alienate oneself from what is known, their known affiliations that may have contributed to their addictions. When a woman or a man enters religious life, especially a monastic way of life, they are often disconnected from family and friends in order to create a new way of being in the world, while not being in the world in the sense of in a way of being of the world, while not being in the world. Military training also employs much of what we are suggesting as constructive alienation. Most programs of personal transformation and change also create a form of constructive alienation, a movement from the status quo, or what we call homeostasis, to something less obstructive towards personal well being. Constructive alienation can only help press and reset the button. It can also reorient us towards what is ultimately more meaningful and elevating life satisfaction. For example, to alienate oneself from obsessing about what others may think about you in any given moment can be a good thing for your feelings of self worth. Today, let's imagine ways that we can pull away from some known but unhealthy ways of thinking, acting, or affiliating with others, while shifting towards a less reactive and chaotic bond that may be preventing you from being fully alive. Thank you for joining me today on this reading, and I look forward to you joining me in future readings. Have a good day.